Hey friends, this is Marilyn from tarotclarity.com, and I know I said that my next few videos were going to be exclusively on the Via Veal, either in doing readings or comparing it to other Via Veal decks, and I do apologize for my appearance. It's early and I'm waiting for my grandson to arrive, and so when I saw that Mascha dropped her next video in the series of the top tarot trumps, and she's on the Pope. So I wanted to get this out there. So I picked my 5 popes this morning. Now, as I mentioned for every one of these types of videos, I don't go through every single solitary deck to see which one is the best pope, you know. I go on memory, and I sometimes just pick random decks to see what's up with that particular, you know, triumph card, right? And so I found my 5. Now, when I think of the Pope, I think of the ideal version of the Pope. And the ideal version of a Pope for me is a heavenly, spiritual individual, whether it's someone you go to for healing or someone you go to for counsel. And when you do a reading and the Pope pops up, you don't necessarily say, oh, go seek out your local priest, you know. For me, it just means go seek the counsel of someone you trust. Go seek the counsel of someone who has authority in that field, right? So it could be doctor or lawyer too. You know, it doesn't necessarily just have to be a spiritual person, but ideally, the Pope, it represents, for me, you know, I'm not telling you what to think, but for me, the Pope represents someone who is approachable and you can ask for guidance. And for that reason, I've chosen the Pope in the next few representations. Now, to give you a little bit of my, I try not to talk religion, because religion and politics will only ever get you in trouble. But I do have a spirituality, and I do have my own religion. I don't know that anybody else practices it, and I don't even know if it's part of a type of practice that anybody else follows. But for me, when I think of a heavenly leader, I go to source, you know. And sometimes, and most of you who have seen my videos know that when I handle a mix of cards and I go into my meditative place, I ask the universe, right? I ask the universe to guide me. So for me, the universe might be my equivalent of mainstream God, although I don't see the universe as an individual. I don't see the universe as a heavenly father. I see the universe as a collective energy that knows better than I. And so when I pray or when I do spells, you know, I approach the universe most humbly and ask for direction and ask for help in obtaining a best possible outcome. Now, I go through all that to tell you all that because it might help you understand my orientation when it comes to choosing which 5 cards I will choose for my Pope. Not in any particular order, okay? I'm just grabbing them as they strike me. The Syrian Starseed Tarot I bought a number of years ago because it intrigued me, you know, in looking at tarot as an otherworldly, you know, as looking at it not just in the microcosm of our own planet, you know, but looking at it from the view of an expansive position. And the Pope in that deck is called Guidance. Now, of course, the images are restricted to our worldly realm, right? We have whatever the Sphinx might represent to this deck creator, which is probably eternity, a long time. And then we have the Buddha, which I understand to be an enlightened individual. And the word guidance is a good one because when you're, spiritually hungry, or you're suffering, or you're struggling, you want somebody that you can trust in that regard. Another card that I've chosen to represent the Pope is taken from the Orbifold Tarot, and I chose it because I wanted to see, first of all, the vibration. When I think of the Orbifold Tarot, I think of vibration, and then capturing the essence of a card in a vibration. I don't know if that's what Michael Dixon Bridges, I think that's his name, Michael Bridge Dixon, excuse me. I'm not sure if that's exactly what he was going for. On the box it says patterns and change, chaotic rhythms, and endless cycles. But he has like a vibrational image of, he called it the Hierophant, which I thought was kind of interesting. Now, a few cards ago for the Empress, I chose a card from the tarot, the African American Tarot, and I chose a card from that deck again for the High Priest. I think it's called the Hierophant here, because he is seeking guidance from a higher power himself. So he doesn't see himself as the end game, right? He acknowledges and seeks it. To me, that's how I interpret this card. He is also seeking guidance from a higher source. Now, don't laugh, but and this was the box for the African American Tarot. And then the Hieronymus Bosch deck. No, don't laugh at this one. But we have, he's called the Surgeon. And you'll notice he's performing an operation on the guy's brain, which I don't take literally. I take it like he's helping to sort. He's helping to, he's making an effort to figure out what's going on in the person's head to help them, emotionally and perhaps spiritually as well. So I'm not seeing this as the painful thing that it looks like it is, but more as the figurative thing that is, he's trying to help the person by organizing what's going on in their minds. And in keeping with the Via Veil, and for real, I chose the Via Veil, and this one, of course, is from Tarot Sheet Revival that I just received. And I will be doing more videos in the next days of comparing the Via Veil with other Via Veil decks. I have 4 others, and also just to show readings. But I didn't just pick this Pope because it is the deck of my day or my week, right? But I chose it because it reminds, a lot of these TDM Popes all look alike, So it's splitting hairs. Which one do you like the best? But I really do like this High Priest, or the Pope of this deck, the most, because if you zoom in on his face, you'll see that he's weary and he's tired, and he carries the burden of all the pilgrims who've come to him to seek his advice and guidance. And they're weary and tired also. They've come a long way, right? But he's equally as tired, and he still finds it in his heart to bless and forgive. And when I was younger, I was raised a Roman Catholic household. My parents were devout Catholics. And I went to Catholic school, and after they withdrew me from Catholic school, because there were 4 of us and they probably couldn't afford the Catholic education for all of us, so they put us into the public school system. But then even after they did that, I continued to go to catechismal classes because my parents insisted on it. So when I was a young adult, in my early 20s, I broke away, for a number of reasons. But there was one point, I think in 1981, maybe 1982, I was really struggling and suffering big time. And one of my friends who was gay, and I mention that because at that time, if you were gay, the church wasn't as, and not that they're open-minded about it now, at all, you know. But at the time, I don't think that you could really approach too many priests who wouldn't admonish you, right, for that. But at any rate, I told him my problem, and he said, go to this priest at this church, and he'll listen. And he did. He did. And there was no judgment. And after I spoke to that priest, I walked away with feeling so much better, and the burden was lifted. And that's what a true spiritual person will do. They'll listen, and they won't judge, because there is a higher power beyond us, right? And I just, and that's what this Pope reminds me of, is the priest that I went to 40 years ago, 45 years ago, you know. And so for me, of all the TDM decks, this one captures what I feel is the essence of a holy man. He's special, and he deserves respect, you know, for being sincere. At any rate, those are my 5 top tarot trumps. Until next time, friends, and I'll be dropping another video hopefully this evening after my grandson goes home. I'll do some readings with the Via Veal, you know. So today will be a twofer, one in the morning and one in the evening. Until next time, friends, peace, stay well, be kind, do no harm. And my baby's pulling into the driveway, so I gotta go.